Hello everyone, this is Inayat Mir with IP address management video voiceover. This video was already posted online without audio, but a PDF version was given to everyone to follow along with this video lab. IP address management is a means of planning, tracking, and managing the Internet Protocol address space used in a network. IPAM integrates DNS and DHCP so that each is aware of change in the other. For instance, DNS knowing of the IP address taken by client via DHCP and updating itself accordingly. IP address management, or IPAM, in Windows Server 2012 is an integrated suite of tools to enable end-to-end planning, deploying, managing, and monitoring of your IP address infrastructure. With a rich user experience, IPAM automatically discovers IP address infrastructure servers on your network and enables you to manage them for a central interface. IPAM includes components for address space management, virtual address space management, multi-server management, and monitoring network audit. So let's go look for this all. We also can use this IPAM for role-based access control. So I think we should go into the video which I have posted already, but due to the demand, I am going to use this opportunity to voice over this video for everyone, so you can see the video steps, the one I have posted already. On top of it, you will also hear the explanation with my audio. So you might hear a small background music on the back end, but I'm going to go through and cover this all audio after this one. Just read some lab scenarios. So the domain I'm using is a datum.com. So that will be my domain, and I'm using a Windows Server 2012 R2 environment. And keep in mind that IPAM has to be installed on a member server. So I'm explaining this one, so ignore this pop-up what I had already set up, which was actually meant to use a PDF version of my lab and lab steps. So you also can get a benefit of some notes within the lab, because I'm not changing the lab contents at all. I'm using exactly the same video where I'm showing you that LON-SVR2 is a member server where we are going to actually install this IPAM feature. So you can see the other environment here. DC1 is a domain controller, SVR1 is a member server, CL1 is a client computer running a client operating system, and a Datum is a domain where I'm using my domain administrator account to log in. Also, I am leaving the steps of this lab, the one you have or you might not have now, but you are able to get these all steps from the bottom of this screen. So every step I perform, actually it is written under this screen, so you can see that. So what I am doing here, I am installing this IPAM feature first on my LON-SVR2. As I said before, when you have IPAM feature, or when you want to have IPAM feature, you need to choose a member server. So LON-SVR2 is a member server. As I said before, we are going to show this demo and explain that how you can actually use one single console for IPAM or IP address management, where we are going to work with especially DHCP and DNS. At the end, we are going to actually do some provisioning of some scopes from IPAM console, then we will go back and verify from the DC1, which is my domain controller, and we also going to perform some failover through IPAM console. So here I installed IPAM, and all prerequisites or required features from IPAM were also installed. So now you can go from your server manager and click on IPAM, and you will see here number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different options. So you have to go first connect to the IPAM server. So server name is LON-SVR2. So this is a member server. Keep in mind that once again I am telling you that wherever you install IPAM, IPAM has to be a member server, cannot be a domain controller. So this is not a domain controller, but our domain is a LON-DC1. That is a host name, and the domain name is datum.com. So number 1 is connect to IPAM server, which is connected. Number 2 is a provision the IPAM server. So we are going to perform this number 2. You always can pause this video. Even I can pause for you. You can read it, but I think it's better when you look at these screens. Simply you have to just pause them the way I'm going to pause here. Just click on the pause button here to give you an opportunity to look at the screen, but I'm gonna continue anyways. You can pause at your choice, and there will be a waiting time in between actually for some process which runs behind. So for that I'm not going to keep running my video. I will pause and go. Here you are going to use this group policy based. Just please pause this video, take a look on that, what is going to be done actually through this console. So you will not see a couple of policies, group policies, but I will show you once we have provisioned those policies, except the default domain and default domain controllers policy, you will see those policies as well. So let's continue. So I have a control to pause this video anyways, but I would say that you can read my lab steps at the bottom of screen and also look at what the wizard is telling you. So you are selecting a provisioning method, which are a GPO method. So you are going to install actually this feature with all of these group policies you are going to have. So these are the settings you are looking at right now, and later on we will go and verify that what group policies actually we have added into our LON-DC1 or into our domain controller. So they're telling you itself on the screen what we are going to do here, what you are going to provision by clicking on these steps one by one. So we did number 1 and we did number 2. We are on number 3. So we are configuring a server discovery. So we're gonna scroll down to look for our server, or you can once you see the server we can add. So it's a root domain. We are adding actually root domain right now. So this domain, as you can see, is a domain controller, DHCP server and DNS server. So click on OK at this point. So discover server was the third part. So we have one DC or domain controller. So you will see that here domains selected one, which was datum.com, and now we have step number 4. So now you can start discovery. So this process may take time, and you can see under my lab steps that it may take from 10 to 15 minutes or something around that 10 minutes. So you don't have to wait for that. Whenever you see that date and time on the top, that's mean this step is done as well. So from your end, yes, you do have to wait for that. So I am continuing with a pause and go. So I stop my video, then I go. So in this way, you don't have to wait with me. And we are on the next step now. So this is a step, fifth step. So currently you see the IPAM access is blocked. So this is a very critical point. When you unblock the access, you will see that it will take a couple of reboots as well. It is a waiting time. So every step here is actually requiring a waiting time. So I would suggest just scroll down, read the information, understand it, get the idea, get the concept, and getting the concept is very important. So the concept is that you are sitting on LON-SVR2 and you are using IPAM console, and then you are actually managing DHCP and DNS remotely. I always just expand font a little bit extra. So actually while you were installing a feature, so it was actually provided to you this info that you have to invoke IPAM group policy provisioning command. So we are doing that one. I am adding this the invoke IPAM GPO provisioning detail here. So I would suggest that while I am running the command at the back end, you should pause the video and look at this, and later on you will review the GPO and domain, and you will see that what was the result of this invoke IPAM GPO provisioning commandlet, what we are using on the back end. There was a typo which I am going to fix now. That has been fixed for this command. Once again, I put a note on a WordPad, so please review that note. Also, you have to go back into a datum.com domain later on. I will show you that, and you will see the new provisioned group policies. So this is our domain, DC1. Once we say yes, and then check the group policies here, what I was talking about in my note. So you're just going to take a look that we are going to manage DNS, DHCP, and we're going to just do some automated work actually from the IPAM console sitting on LON-SVR2. So now we're going to continue from this point. You also can read steps at the bottom. I will try to explain whatever is important and necessary, but we went through all of those steps what we're supposed to go through here for configuring this IPAM feature. So we're gonna go further in detail and do some work on the IPAM console on LON-SVR2. We are on a server inventory, so we will see that if we can unblock this access. Again, this pop-up is coming because I told you I am doing this voice over. So just ignore this pop-up, and if you still need a PDF, so you can contact me for the PDF so you can use it. And you can do the steps with your own setup. All you need a domain controller, and might be 2-member servers, and everything can be done actually on that. So we are showing that what DC1 is. DC1 is a domain controller, DNS server, and DHCP server, as you can see that. So we want to change the state to manage. So we want to manage these servers. So it will take a while to have them as managed state. Currently you see access status is blocked for this server DC1. And constantly we are going to use gp update space / force command, and that command should go through actually. If it doesn't, we have to restart the computer, or we have to make it working for communication reasons. So when you do gp update space / force, so a result may come in between 10 to 30 seconds. If it's not, you may get an error, but so far so good. It worked on DC1, so that's mean we are good from the domain side. But still, you don't expect that you're gonna be able to see unblocked. So we have DC1 managed, but it's not actually a green arrow yet. And SVR1 is another member server, which is a DHCP server only. So if you remember from previous actually part of this lab, which is not in this video right now, we had a DC1 as a DHCP server, and then we had a SVR1 as a failover. So that was a failover. So still that server SVR1 is running DHCP console as a failover from DC1. So we want to have these servers managed. L1-DC1, which is a domain controller, which is a DHCP server, which is a DNS server, and also L1-SVR2. I meant L1-SVR1. So we made these both servers managed. So we are now struggling to change the IPAM access status. So again, this is not a very simple. It is a time consuming, and it is requiring couple of reboots. So I remember in this video I took or I spent about 10 minutes to have it green, which will be green shortly, but that will require again reboot. So I'm going to reboot anyways to show you. You can also follow same footsteps what I am doing right now. So currently status is blocked. So IPAM access status has to be green in order to do a remote work from my IPAM console from L1-SVR2. So if I take any action now, it will not work. So I don't want you to just take a look and wait for this all. I will pause my video, but let me start my first server, like a first reboot, and I will take a video offline and take a second reboot as well, because I have done this twice. So I have rebooted my server twice. So it will be the video will be paused after my first restart, and when I restart second time, I will actually turn on my video for my second server. SVR1 gave me a little hard time. It took a while actually to turn back into green. So DC1 is fine. GP update worked. And without reboot, DC1 actually started working. So now I am going to reboot this server SVR2, so it will get some updates actually and get some refresh. So I will see that. I will anyways come back for my after my second reboot. So I'm going to restart now and pause my video till I have my second reboot. So when I'm ready to turn the status to green, I will let you know. I am also rebooting L1-SVR1 and turning it back. So what I did here, I rebooted L1-SVR2, and technically I supposed to reboot L1-SVR1 to see some better result. So now I did not reboot L1-DC1, but I did reboot L1-SVR1. So I'm trying to refresh now. Got it. Okay. So technically or actually we're supposed to reboot L1-SVR1 because we are going to manage these two under IPAM. So these both actually now working. We can see the status is green, and that's what we were looking for. So we are going to look for and retrieve all server data from SVR1 and from DC1. So now if you look at these green arrow, this is the indication that yes, we are okay, and we are actually able to manage those two servers. We can actually get all data into one single IPAM console, and this was just an indication that what was successfully completed. Just take a look and pause the video what was actually done in this part, so we can continue for the second part to move from this step. In between, if I feel anything which I have to explain with more detail, so I will try to put on a WordPad or Notepad or type it, or I can talk about it. We'll see that. So let's move on to the second steps. So you can just look at this IPAM console from the left side. Under overview, you will see all required options. So this is a monitor and a manage window where you can see actually your DHCP or DNS properties and their scopes and their details. And I would always suggest that you're supposed to pause the video and read the whole detail, because this topic is not so simple. This topic actually needs some expertise from your end as well. So you got to take a time to understand this one. Again, ignore this pop-up which is asking you just to request for PDF. So this is a you can take this video as a separate video with the audio. So this will be, and this is a separate video with the audio, which I'm going to also provide you, so you will have an access to this video. So what you are here doing this, you are going to create a scope remotely. So remember this scope and remember this scope name. So you are on L1-SVR2. You are creating a test scope on L1-DC1. So DC1 does not have this scope as of now, but once you complete this scope and you add IP address, you add starting and ending IP address, exactly same scope. If you want to add a default gateway, that IP will be available actually on L1-DC1. So because you are able to manage DHCP server on DC1 and on L1-SVR1 remotely from IPAM console, due to that green status of IPAM. So now you are creating a scope here simply by right clicking on the server name and creating a scope. So remember this IP 10.00.50 to 10.00.100. Under options, you can actually add options. This is exactly what you do as a GUI. You go under your DHCP console, where you can actually create or add options, scope options, or server options. On scope level, on server level or scope level, you can add these options here. 003, you know, that is for router, 6 for DNS, 15 for string value of the domain, but we are using here 003, which is a default gateway, and you're gonna actually add here default gateway's IP address, which is 10.0.0.1. As I have explained this before, that the router address is supposed to be first available address in the IP pool, which we have. So you are looking at a new scope creation on DC1. So these are the steps. If anything goes wrong, you can actually perform those steps. And so far we did create a scope from L1-SVR2 to L1-DC1, and this was a test scope. So you are managing this remotely. So this scope was created remotely. You can refresh, and scope actually is already now provisioned, created on L1-DC1. So later on I will go and show you. So whatever you are doing from L1-SVR2, it is a remote action, or it is an action which is done remotely. So this is a test scope. That scope is basically part of L1-DC1. So now you can do this failover for this scope to L1-SVR1. So we had before a scope on L1-DC1, we did a failover on L1-SVR1. So now we are making a second scope, and you want to have a failover on L1-SVR1. Just read the steps. So everything is actually self-explanatory itself. So you just simply look at the steps, read this light bulb option where you have instructions. So we are actually going to have a 50-50 load balance option here. This was done GUI way before through graphical user interface. In the first part of this lab, you did a DHCP failover from DC1 to SVR1, and same thing is being shown you here. So you are doing the same thing. Secret means a password. Yeah, we had some network problem for connecting these servers to the LMS. So that's why you see this all messages coming up, some slow network. So everything is given to you right there. So this was done in lab 1, but we did not have actually at that time IPAM installed, so we did directly on L1-SVR1. So now the difference between the first part of this lab and this is that we are doing this now directly through IPAM server. So you can have a lot of other DHCP servers as well. So you can simply add more servers to manage. We did add only 2 servers to manage, L1-SVR1 and DC1 only, that's all. Once again, this message which I am putting here was in my non-audio. video. So just ignore once again, and because you are having audio in this part now, so this is same. All right. So now we are going into DHCP server. So now remember what we have done so far. We did create a scope, test scope, with approximately 50 addresses or 51 addresses. So that scope should be there under my DHCP server. So now the point is that why we use IPAM. I will go back and refresh, and I will show you that's supposed to be there. Just get the concept and get the idea. With continue, we're gonna go one more time on our DHCP server to show you those steps. So we are adding this IP address block with network ID 172.16.00. Length is class B 16, and description is head office. We are adding IP address inventory. With the IP address is 172.16.0.1, and follow on these fictitious MAC addresses, router's IP address, and head office router. So this will be actually added here. This is the router. So we are using a first available IP address for the router, and description head office router. So adding another IP 010. You will see these all in DHCP. Continue with the idea box. Just copy those all steps. You're gonna tap manually, but looking at right from there as a guideline. And click on OK once you actually populate all information. So you are going to look at these records in the DNS. So we are going to add these records. Once again this pop-up comes in, just ignore it. So you are reserving this with a web server name. Just keep in mind, when I go to my DNS console, you should be able to see web server record there. So think this way: you are on LON-SVR2 where you are creating these records, and these records should be available in DNS once it is completed from this side. So we are making this record, and under a datum.com zone we are adding this record from IPAM console. For primary server, notice one thing, that we are creating this record. I pause the video for a second. This record actually is going under a datum.com, a forward lookup zone in DNS, and my DC1 is a host name of my domain. And I'm gonna play again just to explain a little bit here. So everything else is right given to you on the left side in this window. And this should be created. So you can just look at the info right over here, and then you're gonna verify this information. Now we're going back to the DC1 to look at what we have right now. So if you want to refresh, you can refresh the DHCP, or close and open again. That will refresh actually. And at this moment, yes, we refreshed it. This moment you should be able to see all records what actually we have just created. So go back to tools and DHCP server, and notice that whatever was created through LON-SVR2 is available under the DHCP server, and also I'm going to show you a DNS console as well. So look at the zones now. Here we got the scopes, and under scopes you can see the options what we have actually available, and the network. And this is my web server. We just created this one, this record we reserved it. This is a reservation for the web server. And let's go and look at DNS. Under datum.com we should have a record for web server. So you can scroll down, ignore this pop-up again, once again, maybe last time, or maybe one more time. Okay, you will look at the record with all existing records. We are looking for right there, web server record, a host record and a resource record, you could say, or okay. So we actually have completed all of the steps of this IPAM video. So my suggestion is that when you do the lab, don't close at the end, because you got to go back into your DHCP server, DNS server, LON-SVR1, and verify actually whatever was created. So slowly and steadily go and look at this lab back. Wherever you need to pause the video, you need to pause, just pause it, and take a look of these all steps. Once again, these steps are not so simple and so easy, so you have to watch this video with a very care, and do some customized work, and then verify that work. Thank you for watching this video, and this is Inayat Mir. So whatever was done in part number 2, you have seen that one on the screen. Just read it. And this will be end of your lab. Thank you. I'll see you in my next video. So this is my end music as usual for these videos.